Let's talk about Soggy Bottom MotoFest 2023. What's up everyone, Matt here, and you're watching TS Moto Adventures. So, it's July right now, and that means it's time once again for Soggy Bottom MotoFest. For those of you that don't know, Soggy Bottom MotoFest is a 3-day adventure rally hosted by Kissel Motorsports in the lovely town of Port Matilda, Pennsylvania. This was the first ever adventure rally that I attended last year. It was such an amazing experience that I was super duper excited to come back again this year. They launched the registration for this on New Year's Eve of this year, so literally at midnight I was on my phone getting tickets for this event. I was so excited to come back. If you haven't seen my video from last year's event, be sure to check it out right there. Now let's get into what you've all been waiting for, this year's rally. Look at this, holy crap. This is just all mud here. It was such a great experience, as I expected. It was great to go back and reconnect with people that I had met last year and ride with people that I've been riding with over the last year at other events. This year, unlike last year, it wasn't super dusty the entire time. In fact, this year we ended up getting a bit soggy because of all the rain that we had. Our first ride on Friday, it was ridiculously hot out. Like, I swear, it was like 100 degrees. The ride itself was super duper awesome, but it was so exhausting for everyone involved, myself included. I rode the B routes again this year with the guys that I normally ride with, and we had a really good time. Our first ride had a couple sections that were just a little too much for what we wanted to deal with the heat, so we ended up bypassing a couple things on there, but at the end of the day, we still got an amazing ride in. And I ended up dropping my bike not once, but twice on the first day. I literally, as we had just started the ride, was saying that it would really suck if I dropped my bike on the first ride of the rally. So let's hope that I don't drop the bike today on the first ride. I don't wanna drop right out of the gate. And well, I ended up cursing myself and doing it anyway. Drops and crazy heat aside, the ride was phenomenal. We had such a great time, and it was amazing to be back riding in Pennsylvania again this year. After we finished our ride day one, we got back around 3:45 or so, and it started downpouring. And I mean downpouring. The field we were in turned into just this giant mud pit. Tires were sliding all over the place for people that were trying to get in and out. Literally outside of my trailer was just all water, like just a little pond right there for me to walk through every day. Even under the tent where we had all our riders meetings and meals, it was just all mud. This obviously led to a very muddy day 2. This shit is muddy and slick. It's not even like deep mud, it's just slick. Thankfully for the first half of day 2, it was significantly cooler. The ride was way easier, it was nice and chill, and it overall made up for the craziness and the heat of our first ride on day 1. Once we got through the first part of that ride, we stopped for lunch, and there were riders everywhere. It was so cool to see so many people out there, and just the variety of bikes that people had. Stopped for lunch. Second ride's done. Yeah, we got one more for today. Probably another 100 miles or so. Did about 100 miles already. Drinking some Gatorade, rehydrating, and we're about to hit the road again. So, yeah, all in all, super fun so far. After having some lunch, rehydrating, and checking out some of the cool stuff that was going on, we hopped back on our bikes for ride 3 of the weekend. This ride ended up having some pretty cool stuff on it. I think my favorite part was all of the mud puddles that we ended up going through. I mean, just look at some of these things. They were freaking crazy.
All right, so we're entering an area called Bloody Skillet. That was fun. I enjoyed that big time.
Overall, Saturday's rides were a little boring at times, but you know what? It's exactly what we needed after all the craziness and all the heat and everything we dealt with on Friday. We made great time on our Saturday rides too. We got back to base camp like 3:30, 3:45 again. That was crazy considering we did about 180 miles. Granted, on the way back, after fueling up kind of right at the end of the ride there, I was really excited to get some pictures of like my bike just covered in all the mud because of that last section there, which is all those giant mud pits. And, well, the sky opened up and it started to pour again.
Bike's getting washed. It was dirty as fuck. Now it's not.
So unfortunately, I didn't get to get pictures of my bike just totally covered in mud because by the time I got back to my trailer, it was basically clean again, unfortunately.
Man, I wanted some pictures of this thing totally covered in mud. Now it's all clean again. That sucks.
So the last day of Soggy Bottom, what we've been told at the riders meeting was that if you didn't like Friday's rides, you were gonna hate the ride on Sunday. So much so that they actually put out a more sport touring route for everyone to ride instead. But you know, by that time, like half of the event had cleared out. There was 400 riders there, and there was probably like less than 100 left Sunday morning. So here we are. It's the last day of Soggy Bottom MotoFest, and everyone that I rode with has decided to leave. So I'm gonna pack up and leave too. Apparently the last ride today is supposed to be fairly difficult, and a lot of people just aren't up for it because of how the weather's been. And we went from ridiculously hot on Friday and like everyone literally just overheating on the bike to yesterday morning was perfect, and then yesterday afternoon, you know, we got a bunch of rain. Everything's really muddy. People are getting stuck getting in and out of here, so most people seem to be clearing out. A lot of people cleared out yesterday. So what ended up happening is a bunch of the guys that I was riding with, they ended up leaving. And Carl, who's one of the guys that I regularly ride with, he was camped out next to me. And what we had decided was, instead of the two of us just riding in the heat that day, we were gonna leisurely pack everything up and head out earlier in the morning. But what was even more interesting was seeing all of the people slipping and sliding trying to get out of there. So much so that they had a tractor coming around to help pull people out of the mud in this field. It was funny as hell to watch. Thankfully, neither of us needed help because of where we were parked. Shout out to Todd Zacher. You gave me a phenomenal spot to put my trailer, and I appreciate that, buddy. But all in all, that being said, Soggy Bottom MotoFest 2023 was amazing. It was exactly what I was hoping for, and it was exactly what I've been needing. There's nothing like getting on your bike and riding through some crazy terrain in the middle of a beautiful state with phenomenal weather and really cool people to ride with. It's one of my favorite things in the world, and it's why I keep doing this stuff to this day. Huge shout out to Kissel Motorsports in Tyrone. Thank you so much for putting everything on. It's such a great event. I'm so happy that I was able to attend for a second year, and I'm really, really excited to go back for a third year in 2024. If you're interested in learning more about Soggy Bottom MotoFest, be sure to check the link in the description below. That's got all the info from this year's event. And keep an eye out for when they announce registration for next year's event. Because honestly, if you didn't go this year, you missed out. And you really, really, really need to go next year. Now, as for other rallies that I'm attending this year, coming up in a couple weeks, I have Tour Tech Dirt Days again up in New Hampshire. That was such a great event last year. The riding up in New Hampshire and Vermont is probably some of my favorite, and I'm so excited to go back to that. And after that, I'm back again for year 2 of Blackwater Adventure Rally. Big shout out to Chris for putting that on again. The first year of that event was absolutely amazing, and I'm so excited to see what you have in store this year. Info on both of those events are also down in the description below. As of right now, though, Blackwater is sold out. Who knows? If you're lucky, you may be able to get in on the waiting list, though. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, hit that thumbs up if you like the video, and ring that notification bell to find out when I put out new content. Until next time, as always, ride safe.